Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Operation Greatness. This is another one of our Freeing the Matrix action pods. This one is number 35. It's called Outgiving God. This is the most wealthy way to live. I am sovereign. I am free. Easy for you to say 3 times fast, perhaps. Anyway, this is going to be a very interesting one, so let's get right into it. Okay, so first of all, let's extend your mind. What comes to your thinking, what comes to your presence and your consciousness and your being as you hear the words outgiving God? Does that imply to you that God is infinite and unlimited? So for you to outgive God, that means that you are aware of your infinite and unlimited wealth. Is that fair to say? How much is that expanding your consciousness of wealth? How much are you already being at a much higher level of wealth with even just contemplating the meaning of those words, outgiving God? Is that already extending what you are allowing? Or we use the word Kamar, Camar, which represents how you are here to live by creating, attracting, manifesting, allowing, and receiving everything you want because it's meant to be yours by the sole fact that you have that desire in the first place. Because that seed desire was given to you by God. So all of this is inviting you to play at a much higher level. As you know, if you've seen our other shows or heard them at least, and you can see them when you're part of our Operation Greatness chapter, we're doing the videos for each of our Operation Greatness chapter meetings, quote unquote podcasts. There's so much more than that. That's at operationgreatness.com/leader. And well, so when you're living this way, you open so much more to, what is God? God is the word that I use to describe the infinite and unlimited. Do you use that word as well? Then you know what that means. I was going to say represents, right? These are so powerful contemplations for you to even answer, for you to see, well, that's interesting. What is God? Do I believe that God is some man with a long white beard who lives in the clouds somewhere? That doesn't sound like anybody really believes that, I hope. Because that's just almost like for children to represent. No, I think even children know so much more. Anyway, instead of God being like the source of all life, consciousness, presence, it's beyond your mind's ability to understand. And so, however you represent it in your mind, that's kind of like a finger pointing in the direction of that which is, where there is nowhere God is not. That's what omnipresence means, right? Anyway, so, okay, what I started to share, if you've been seeing our Operation Greatness podcasts through operationgreatness.com/leader, where you're leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, you know that your work is opening fully to receiving God at the level of 100%, 100 out of 100. That's your work, and your purpose is extending God into the world at that same level, 100 out of 100, 100%, because you are God's gift to the world, and you are the instrument through which God is blessing the world. Because, I mean, how else can God transform people's lives and bless them with the infinite, unlimited, of which you are the expression of that in the world? I mean, all of this is so profound for you to accept, allow, acknowledge, and yes, receive, because the only obstruction there ever was in your life was you. And that's why I say your work is opening 100%, 100 out of 100 to allowing God. You could say it's prana, you could say it's love, you could say it's vital life force or the force. Your work is opening fully to that, not limiting the unlimited in any way. So this is something, okay, let's talk about outgiving God here, because this is critical. I mean, I suggest that you consider living your life this way. Okay, so when was this? Maybe, I don't know when this was. Let's say it was about 20 years ago, maybe in 2004 or somewhere in that area, 2006, 2002, I don't know when it was. I don't remember what year it was. I was listening to, I was probably watching a video, maybe an interview, maybe it was just Neil Donald Walsh. He wrote or he channeled or whatever you want to think of it as being the book's Conversations with God. At the time, I was interested in that material, I think, or maybe it was years before then when it first came out or when it became big. And I liked what he was sharing. And I think I remember it more now. I think he was talking and there was a group of people. So maybe he was leading a presentation or a meeting or workshop, seminar, whatever. And because I remember him, this stood with me also. I remember him saying, there is only one of us here. And that's his way of expressing omnipresence, right? Present, God is present everywhere. There is nowhere God is not, because how could there be? God is what the word I use, at least, to describe that which is infinite and unlimited. So, and that includes, and especially includes within you and within every one of us. So if you're seeing something other than God anywhere, are you really even seeing God at all? Are you completely, well, because what's at the opposite end? If 100 out of 100 is receiving God, what is zero? Ego, not God. I mean, good means God. Like I say God morning instead of good morning, or God day, or God night, God evening, because that's just a reminder of what is. And what is not? Well, we call that ego, which means not God. That's very interesting for you to think about that. If you're coming from your head, then you're obstructing that flow of God moving through you to bless and transform the world, which is why you are here. This is your work, is to open fully to that which is, right? Is there any question about that? I mean, how could you be that arrogant or selfish or egotistical to think it's even possible to conceive or imagine of you limiting the unlimited? I mean, who are you to deny God full expression in your life? Pretty straightforward question. So, how do you answer that? Well, don't stop doing that. You were doing that. You were playing small and limiting yourself, which means limiting the unlimited. How is that even possible to imagine you doing that? Well, so stop doing that. We're doing this together, especially through freeingthematrix.com. And you want to especially go to freeingthematrix.com/free free-month, where I'll even buy you your full month of our Freeing the Matrix Mastermind. That's at freeingthematrix.com/free-month. Would you love to do that? Because then you're part of this group where we're all working together, where together we have created that 1.72 billion people have become very wealthy living their Dharma through freeingthematrix.com and operationgreatness.com. This is the greatest thing we've ever done and the higher purpose of our lives. Because the thing is, your power is beyond measure. You are God's gift to the world. And God is seeking full expression in your life because your work is opening fully 100% open to God, blessing the world through you because that's your work is opening fully to God. Your purpose is extending God fully 100% in the world. And that means removing the blocks, obstructions, limiting belief, scarcity, fear, lack, consciousness that was within you. And that's why your work is opening fully to God. So you can extend God fully in the world because you are God's instrument for miracles. You are God's gift to the world. So be it. So remove all the limitations, the old lack, scarcity, fear, programming that you had allowed to take over or limit the unlimited, like coming from ego instead of God, not God instead of God, or getting in your head, or coming from ignorance, or evil is another word, which I've heard people saying that means a veil, putting a veil over your head, or your eyes, or your sight, or your vision, right? And anyway, I mean, that's coming from ego, that's ignorance, versus what is 100%. That's 100% God, or 100% love, or 100% being of greater service to more people, right? So your power is beyond measure, and the only thing that ever had limited that was you, coming from ego, coming from not God. So now you're coming back to God. And I'm inviting you to consider outgiving God. So going back to Neil Donald Walsh. So the one thing he said in that meeting that he was leading or seminar or whatever it was, I saw the video of it or a clip of it. I don't remember. I think I saw an hour, maybe it was an hour conversation that he gave, if I remember correctly. I don't know exactly, 15 minutes, whatever it was. And anyway, he said there's only one of us here. And that was pretty interesting to see that, or for him to see that, because anyway, I was going to share that I've been studying with an enlightened master since like about September, October 1999. It's called Advaita Vedanta. It's a philosophy which loosely translates to non-duality. So it's about coming from God and no longer limiting that in any way, right? So Neil Donald Walsh, in that conversation, I was hearing him speak, he said something that really stopped me, and I loved it and it inspired me very much. He was calling it outgiving the universe. He said, you cannot outgive the universe because the more you give, the more you get back multiplied, that allows you to give that much more. And I was like, I think that's all he said. And I was like, wow, outgiving the universe. That's really inspiring to me. That's very interesting. And I had to, because of me, the way I am, I like to take things and implement them and test them and demonstrate them and create from them. So I borrowed that line, Outgiving the Universe, and I created the domain for that, or I bought the domain, I reserved it, and then I wrote a book on that, Outgiving the Universe, and, and then it became like a coaching program, and I think there was maybe 3 volumes of the book, and maybe there was, I don't remember, but there was like, and then I did a video program on that, and I did the advanced version of the video program on that. And it was really fun, and I created this whole thing on that. like a whole, I even did it, I don't know, let's say 3 years ago, I think I don't know, let's say it was maybe a 12 volume video set, something like that. 12 lesson coaching program really is what it was or is. And so I'm I'm loving this because, and this is why I'm inviting you to contemplate this. So, oh yeah, when I did like the 12 or whatever, 15 volume coaching lesson program, that was called Outgiving God. I think I did change the name to Outgiving God because that is so much more relevant, pertinent, meaningful, personal for me. And would you say that's the case with you as well? Because the universe is more, esoteric. What is the universe? Well, it's kind of like anything outside of me, and yet outgiving God. What is God? God is, period. God is. That's a simple two-word truth that we all know and experience every moment. We are aware, we are awake, we are conscious, we are present. That's the simple two-word description or truth of the whole universe, the whole cosmos is God is. That's what omnipresence is. So there's nowhere God is not, so there's nothing that's not an expression of God unless that's coming from ego, not God. And how much of the world was not God? I mean, like before what I call Fraud 1.0 began, in March of 2020, to me, like humanity was about, if we're generous, about 3 or 4% coming from God instead of ego, not God. So we were like 96 or 97% coming from ego, not God, and only about 3 or 4% coming from God on that chart or scale between 0 and 100%. We were like about 3 or 4, I think, in my estimation. What do you think about that? And then after Fraud 1.0 began, or what I call the attempted totalitarian takeover, let's just say if you know, you know. And if you don't know, then for sure, watch my videos for Raising Humans, part one, two, and three, and also see I think part, I think Raising Humans are Operation Greatness podcast number 9, 10, and 11. And I think number 8 is called Becoming Unlimited. Yeah, it is. I think it's number 8. Anyway, those are very important for you to do as well. So make a note to that, or of that, to go to those Operation Greatness chapter meetings. That's through operationgreatness.com/leader, and do all 4 of those because this is really important as part of you being the inspired visionary leader it is your destiny to be. Would you agree that's important and imperative for every one of us now to do right here? That's through operationgreatness.com/leader. So going back to outgiving God, I so love this because what I said in the beginning, like, does that imply to you that you are focusing on giving more than the infinite and unlimited? And that, what does that require of you? That you acknowledge and recognize and open to you being infinite and unlimited. So you're no longer holding yourself back anymore. You're no longer playing small. You're no longer limiting God, right? For you to focus on giving more than the infinite and unlimited, you have to first become infinite and unlimited. You have to first remove the obstructions, the obstacles that were there because you were in your ego. You were coming from not God instead of God. Do you see? I mean, do you love the symmetry here, or the beauty, or the elegance, or the simplicity, or the truth within this? So by you coming from outgiving God, you're saying, I know that I am unlimited, that there is no scarcity, and I'm not buying into any of the scarcity, fear, lack programming or consciousness or the virus of limitation. I mean, I used to call this the matrix of fear and limitation, the real matrix. And yet, notice that these words, if you're watching this video through operationgreatness.com/leader, then you see the words here. This is, I mean, our conversation right here is our Operation Greatness Freeing the Matrix Action Pod number 35. Freeing the Matrix, and it's at freeingthematrix.com/free month is your link to become part of our Freeing the Matrix Mastermind, where we're doing the work of leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating. LITL, doing a little more today in being of greater service to everyone connected with us on all of our online platforms like social media, the companies we use where we play online. Everyone connected with you, you're transforming their lives. You're blessing them, you're inspiring them, you're giving them financial freedom and receiving that yourself just by transforming the lives of everyone you can reach through your freeingthematrix.com mastermind partner link. And you're getting that. I mean, I'll give you that for free as part of your free month if you're interested at freeingthematrix.com/free-month. So, outgiving God for how does that feel, first of all? Because, I mean, abundance is your nature, wealth is your destiny, riches is why you are here or what's required of you to open, to allow in your life to have the impact. It is your destiny, it is your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma to have. You know that, right? I mean, there's nothing to question or to limit the unlimited here, right? So by you coming from outgiving God, you're saying, I'm rejecting scarcity, fear, lack programming. I'm turning my back on all of that because I know that that was never there. I mean, like at freeingthematrix.com, we see how, actually, let me show you that. Where is that? It's right, it's in one of these tabs that I have on the top here. Is it right here? No, it's right here. No, it's not. Well, anyway, we have a special video. I guess I didn't have that prepared for you. Sorry about that. But anyway, we have a special video, which is, it's right here, I think. It's called, well, I don't know where it is, but it's, oh, it is. Is it right here? No, it's not. Well, anyway, it's called Freeing the Matrix from Your Mind. Because your mind is so much greater than, oh, it's right here. Your mind is so much greater than the Matrix ever was. Because your mind is more expansive than, well, we're going to talk about that here. It's actually on this page. It's at the page for freeingthematrix.com/free-month. It's right. Is this it here? I think it is. No, this is Operation Greatness Podcast number 33, Rise Warrior Rise. I put that here. And anyway, there's a lot of great stuff for you right here at freeingthematrix.com/free-month. And you can read this page and give me permission to share this stuff with you, because then I'm going to walk you through even doing or receiving. This is another, it's a $197 gift. Receiving, it's called Living Your Ultimate Purpose. It's a $197 masterclass that I create, and I would love for you to have that. And I'm walking you through doing that down here. And you can even help me reach more people. So you're being of greater service yourself. So let's go back to our graphic image here for Operation Greatness, freeing the Matrix, action pod number 35, outgiving God, the most wealthy way to live. I am sovereign. I am free. Okay, so for you to come from abundance, prosperity, and think of abundance as being you're in alignment with God and you're not seeing anything that is not of God, is not sacred, is not abundant, is not wealthy, and you're because all lack and scarcity and fear, all of that you recognize is of ego, not God, right? So, because what is God other than infinite and unlimited? So that means, of course, abundance, and you're surrounded by infinite wealth every moment of your whole life. And it's just a matter of receiving that. And that's part of opening 100% to God, right? So, what does that mean to come from the consciousness of outgiving God? You're not allowing no part of your psyche, your consciousness, your awareness, your presence, your mind is coming from scarcity, fear, lack. All of that was of ego, and you're making that zero, and that means 100% receiving God, right? Because that's how you're living true to who you are. You are God's gift to the world, so be it. Is there anything questionable about that? I mean, that's reality, that's truth, that is you. That's your nature. That's who you are. So anything from scarcity, fear, lack, all of that was of ego, of not God. None of that was real. That was not who you are. That was false. Plain and simple. True or false. God is true. Ego is false. Like Neil Donald Walsh shared with us, there is only one of us here, except to call God a one, like a person, well, that kind of implies that there's something other than one. I mean, this is beyond your mind's ability to understand, so we can kind of talk about it. And yet, like I said, the words are just like a finger pointing in the direction, and you don't get stuck on the words, the semantics, because that's still in your mind of ego, and you go beyond the mind to receive that which is infinite, unlimited, abundant, wealth, riches, prosperity, love, happiness, joy, fulfillment, well being, peace of mind, success, meaning, impact, contribution. This is who you are. This is your nature. This is what you are here because you are God's instrument. I mean, how does God bless the world other than through your life? So if you're limiting God, then you're denying God and you're limiting the good that God is doing through your life. And you could say, what does that mean? It means you aligning with your purpose, you being of greater service to more people, you not playing small or holding back or letting fear have any part of your life because that's entirely of ego. And that means not God. And you're opening to God. So you're allowing, you're letting go and letting God, you're trusting, you're breathing in the infinite wealth surrounding you every moment of every day of your life. And you're not holding that back. You're not blocking that, obstructing that. I mean, it's called the currency of life or the currency of wealth for a reason because that's called prana, vital life force, or the Holy Spirit, or the presence of God. And if you're limiting that, if you're blocking that, if you're damning that, that's like turning your back on God. That's like saying, no, God, I'm scared. I feel small. I feel weak. Well, that's from ego, and that means you're denying God full expression in your life, how is it even possible to imagine the arrogance or someone so selfish or self-serving or, well, because they were in ego, which is of not God, right? That's not you, right? Because you're outgiving God. And that, notice those words, outgiving. What does that mean? That implies that you're giving so generously, you're coming from such a place of wealth, such a high, high consciousness of wealth, such an expansion of your mind that you're not playing small or coming from fear or ego, not God in any way, right? How does that feel to you? Because you're affirming, I am wealthy, I am sovereign, I am free. I'm not limiting God in any way because how could I even imagine that or comprehend that? Because God is infinite and unlimited. And why would it be appropriate for me to block or damn or obstruct God in any way? How could I be so? See, there's not even a word for that other than ego. Well, no, that's not who you are. That's not why you're here. Why you're here. You're here for a very important purpose. You're here to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate everyone connected with you, all your online friends, for example. You are here to guide them in stepping up and opening to receiving God at the level of 100% themselves. And the example of what 100% open to God is Jesus, right? Is there any question about that? So we know what that's like. And then what did Jesus say? All these things that I have done, you will do yourself, and so much more. Is anything uncertain or questionable or doubtful or, I mean, to me, it's so straightforward and easy and obvious. So live that. Open fully to God. And even coming from outgiving God, that's like you're saying, I'm so connected with God. I'm demonstrating unlimited and infinite wealth, prosperity, happiness, joy, fulfillment, meaning, peace of mind, success, I said prosperity, impact, meaning, contribution. I'm the living example of that, and there's nowhere God is not, including in me being generous and being of service to as many people as I can and not holding back or limiting that in any way because, and you're not even thinking about what you get back because that would be of scarcity or ego, not God, right? Because your whole, I mean, I think of my life as being like a brook. I mean, like a spring, like a wellspring of love. And there's no, when you're coming from abundance, you don't think about, well, yeah, but I gave you this much and you only gave me this much. No, it's like when you give this much and you don't even look at what comes back to you, that's like, a spring coming out of the ground is like a source of wealth, abundance, love, peace. I mean, so the water flowing out, the gift from God or life or prana, it flows one direction. So it's giving, 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 giving. There's no limit to that, right? I mean, I live near two creeks by my house here, and they're just an outflowing of love. So are you any different than that? I mean, you're like through you, through the instrument for miracles you're allowing God to play beautiful music in the world. Your life is a blessing. Your life is a gift. You're God's gift to the world. So be it. And that's opening fully to outgiving God. So the more you're giving, the more I mean, then it sets up that, the law of tenfold return or the law of 100-fold return or the law of a millionfold return or the law of a billion or 10 billion or 100 billion or 1 trillion return. What you give comes back to you multiplied by 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or a million or 10 million or a billion or 10 billion or 100 billion or 1 trillion. I mean, there's no limit to the unlimited, right? I mean, does God see any difference between 1 penny and $10 trillion or $100 trillion or $1 quadrillion or $100 quadrillion? No, because to the infinite and unlimited, energy is energy is energy is energy. And the energy in $1 or $1 million or $1 trillion is all the same because that's just a finite amount to the infinite. So there's no limit to the infinite, right? So how are you responding to this? How is this speaking to you? Will you test this? Will you demonstrate this? Will you give unconditionally, freely from love without keeping track? Well, I gave this much and I only got this much back, or I didn't get anything, and nobody even acknowledged me. Well, no, the brook is one direction. It's just outflowing of love, right? I mean, does God keep track and count tabulations like, oh, well, you did this and you only got, no, that's from scarcity. That's from ego, not God, right? So you're coming from infinite and unlimited wealth, abundance, prosperity, love, right? So let me know your thoughts about all this. I want to okay, go to freeingthematrix.com/free hyphen month and join us for this. I mean, we're talking about this today in our conversation, so let's go deeper into this and you can share your examples with me and we can all get into this. Live this way, and I am sovereign, I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. I am sovereign, I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. I am sovereign, I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. How do those words fit for you? How do they feel? How much more are you open to God by saying those, by affirming those? Because where you're giving your attention, you are giving your power, and that's how you are creating your life and how we are creating our world. So would you like to play here and demonstrate outgiving God? Because you just know and trust that are you're part of how God is blessing the world. So of course, you have to receive God before you can extend God, and God is infinite and unlimited, so you're not coming from scarcity at all. You're no longer limiting God, the infinite and unlimited. So let me know your thoughts about all this. And actually, I would love for you now to go back to the beginning of this and play this from the beginning and share your thoughts as separate posts using your freeingthematrix.com mastermind partner link in all of the posts you're making, because this is how you're leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating every one of your online friends. This is the action part of our action pod number 35. So, and then take all the posts that you're giving and put them into the essay that you're sending me from this conversation at dan@danclatt.com. So let's go into our freeingthematrix.com mastermind at freeingthematrix.com/free hyphen month. If you will allow me to gift you the full month, or if you want to do it yourself, then that's at freeingthematrix.com and it costs $59 for the month. And it's actually a $2,500 coaching program because I mean, it's an act of service, it's an act of love, it's a gift from the heart, so please receive that. And if you want to join us for the full year of our Freeing the Matrix Mastermind, then you can do that there as well. And you will get 2 free months, and you will also get a $10,000 bonus coaching program, which is called Mining Every Nugget in Your Mind. So anyway, all of this is there at that link, freeingthematrix.com/free hyphen month. So, and send me your essay from all the posts that you're sharing here as you are being of greater service to more people, opening fully 100% to love. Thank you very much. I love you. I believe in you. I know you're here to do great things because you are God's instrument for miracles. You are God's gift to the world, so be it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.